The eAssist Dental Solutions podcast. We are the nation's leader in outsourced dental billing. Our clients require highly skilled dental office managers that can consult with client offices.
Welcome to the eAssist Dental Solutions podcast. I am your host, Andre Quintana, and I am here in Wake Forest, North Carolina. So, how are you, eAssist Nation? I have a funny feeling that we are going to be saying those words lots of time here on the show, on the eAssist Dental Solutions podcast, because eAssist is Inc. 500 3 years in a row. I am very proud to be podcasting here with eAssist. We have done so much, in the last couple of years, and I could not be more excited about this company and all the growth and all the people that really make this company go. They are wonderful people. And on that note, I have one of those wonderful people with me tonight. Her name is Charity Tobon, and she is a dental hygienist, Kaizen Coach, and a rock star on our team. Hello, Charity. How are you today?
Hello. I am doing well.
This is a great honor for me. I want to introduce you, but we got to tell eAssist Nation hello. So why don't we say hello to eAssist Nation together?
On the count of three.
All right. 1, 2, 3. Hello,
Hi,
eAssist Nation. That is great. That is great. Well, all right. Tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do with eAssist, and then we'll take it from there. How about that, Charity?
I am from Austin, Texas, originally born and raised in Oregon. I have been in dentistry for 17 years. I pretty much knew I wanted to do it since high school. I've worked every aspect of an office except for being the dentist. But yeah, I've been around for a while. I don't claim to know anything, but I claim to know the right people to ask. But I try to be as helpful as I possibly can. So dentistry has been a passion of mine for many, many years, and it continues to be. And then helping people always is a honor in itself. So anytime you can teach someone and listen to someone, understand their perspective, then that's a win for the day for me.
Yeah. And, that's amazing that you're so humble and your leadership. I hear about you and your work. But, one thing is that you are involved clinically in dentistry. As a dental hygienist, you understand a lot of things about dental claims. So how do you combine the two to be the best Kaizen coach that you can be?
Do you want to know how many times I see an SRP come down my line and I go and I call the office and I'm like, do you really want to send an SRP one for this? Knowing that it's going to involve an appeal of some sort. But it's funny that you say that too, because working in my office one day a week as a hygienist, I get asked questions left and right by the office manager who does all of the, accounts that we do. And helping her out with answering a lot of questions that she has involved in what kind of attachments are needed, what's insurance looking at, what are the new codes, and then I sit there in a lot of our office meetings and they ask me, well, what does the insurance need to get it paid for if we do this specific procedure, crowns, root canals, you name it. So I tend to be completely drenched in this world day in and day out, no matter what I tend to be doing.
Wow, that's Find skills. You can't you can't combine this every day. Pick a person that has both worlds to be a part of, and that has to play a big role in the great work that you do. So let's dive in.
Well, first of all, Andre, I'm an incredible hygienist. So first of all, let's get that out of the way.
That is great. I have a feeling you are. So how did you find eAssist?
I actually found eAssist through another eAssister. I've known her for about 10 years. We worked in an office together when I first moved to Austin, and she's the one who actually taught me everything I knew about the front desk. And she made me learn it. Mm-hmm. I'm like, this patient's calling. I don't know what to tell them. She's like, tell them that they owe money. And I'm like, dang it. Mm-hmm. All right, I'll do it. So that's actually how I discovered eAssist. And when I started back almost 3 years ago, I was only part-time. I was doing hygiene full-time, and I was part-time with eAssist, only mainly Fridays. I was a second AM on an office, kind of just trudging through a really large, annoying AR. And I really enjoyed the work. And then as time has changed and we all evolve in our lives, I married my husband. He's in the military and he's gone most of the time, as pretty much my entire region, I think, knows by now. And I get to play single mom to my 7-year-old a lot. So I was in an office doing full-time hygiene. I was already going into part-time hygiene with this office. Things weren't going well. There's a lot of really weird dynamics. So I went ahead and I decided to leave and take eAssist on full-time. Which has been a blessing in disguise because it's allowed me to play single parent really well and be there for my son. I take most afternoons off between 3:30 and 8:30, when he's home from school because that's our time, and then I'll get back to work if I need to. But that's where it's been a big blessing in my life, especially allowing me to take care of him being that only parent.
That's amazing. How has eAssist changed your life?
It's changed my life for the better in allowing me to be home with my child in a lot of ways. I am that mom that likes to keep my kid busy. He's in baseball and hip hop and swim and math and pentathlon, and we're looking into swim team this summer, and we're looking into jiu-jitsu. So I'm constantly keeping him on the move. So being able to be flexible with a schedule is incredibly helpful when it comes to those kind of things.
Yeah, and that kind of reminds me about why eAssist exists. Dr. Anderson had a vision to put more focus on the dental team, right? As a doctor, there was a lot of focus on things that would frustrate the teams, the attitude that being behind can cause in a practice. And, having a staff be on the phone all day long and with insurance companies, those are things that he thought about when he was putting eAssist together. And I mean this because I have had numerous conversations with Dr. Anderson. So with this, it takes a lot of time to ensure that all fee schedules are correct and the relationships are being built with patients. That's really what makes a practice great. How do offices gain more time as a result of having you be part of their team, Charity, and the teams that you lead, of course?
So offices gain much more patient time when they don't have to sit there on the phone with insurances, calling and waiting to get verifications. Or, for instance, when I'm posting in a scan for an office, if there's some reason something wasn't paid for, I just go ahead and send the appeal right away, instead of having that front desk person try to post everything and then put it on her plate as something additional that she needs to get done.
Right.
And then, especially with the offices that I have that are all working on almost 2 years now, they absolutely know they're taken care of. If I have a question, it's because I can't find the answer. It's not that I'm asking a question to ask a question. And so they don't have any doubt on it. Just for instance, example, today I was laughing with one of my offices and the office owner, texted me back because I told her, I'm like, "Whew, you had $15,000 yesterday and $12,000 today."
Wow.
But I got them done, not a problem. And she writes to me, "Thanks, I don't know what I would do without you." And that's what it's about. It's about creating that peace of mind. Just because you're a business owner doesn't mean that you need to be continually fretting or just nervous or not understanding what you're doing. Another example of it is I have another office that's a smaller office, love working at a great office. And the owner told me at the end of the year last year, "Hey, we actually had an additional $40,000 this year of missed insurance payments we never realized we were missing on a regular basis." That to me, even for small offices, that's a big chunk of money that you suddenly have, throughout the entire year. That's bonus levels. That's, wow, we've had the best year ever. What's the next best thing we can do for our practice? And those things are needing to be done to continue to have these offices be successful. Too many people think of a dentist as just somebody who's gaining money when, in all true honesty, they're just working like you and me. It's just they happen to have a building.
Right. Wow. I wish you could, keep talking about that point. You have so much to share that I'm telling you, we have doctors and, assistants and team front desk staff listening to our show all over the country now because I know I've gotten messages
You're that popular? Wow.
eAssist, let me tell you something, all right? It is not about me. eAssist is very popular. We have so many inquiries and phone calls that, our sales team, they just made a comment to me in our huddle that, we feel so loved by so many doctors out there that call in and they ask questions, and they ask us to explain why it does take so much time, for teams, to follow up with insurances. While we do it all, it seems like there is no effort, right? I know that's a question you probably...
Yes and no. I mean, think about it. In an office, why does it take so long for the office? Look at an office perspective on it. Mm-hmm. That front desk person, if it's in their lap, then they have to check in patients, check out patients, check the insurance. If they get the appeal, then they have to send the appeal, and then they have to wait for it to return back in the mail and or, EFT, if that's what they're getting, and then review it, study it, try to figure out why it doesn't get paid, call that insurance, all while still continuing to check in, check out patients, close the end of the day, put in the checks, do the deposit, all those kind of things. I mean, it's quite a juggling act when you're in front, because I've been there, done that. I know what it's like. Mm-hmm. And I also know, being a hygienist, the most important people in my office, honestly, are my front people.
Yes.
And so I go and I cater to them pretty regularly, because I know how important they are, not just to fill my schedule, but, to make sure that they're encouraged, that they're doing a great job, because it's a difficult job. And too many back staff don't understand what the front does, and vice versa, which I hate to see that tension between them, because they're both very important parts of an office. And having worked both parts, I understand it. Mm-hmm. But whereas they talk about how we do things much quicker, well, I'm only concentrating on the insurance portion of things. And on top of it, I've learned a lot, and I continually learn more, because I want to improve on myself, of how codes work, how insurance wants to do codes. If you want this specific code for some sort of tissue regeneration, well, we need to make sure we send a pre-D for an implant. And it's things that I just kind of already know at this point, because I'm continually learning. And so instead of having to do as much research and then get distracted on top of all of it, I could just send the information that's needed. So then in turn, it looks like I have a quicker turnaround, but the fact is that I'm able to, because I have the time. And the beauty behind it is when I take that away from the front office, then that allows that front office person to pay attention to the patient, which creates that long-lasting relationship, which ultimately we all know in dental offices, if you want to retain patients, you need to retain that relationship. And then second of all, it allows them to be able to talk to patients confidently about what's going on with their accounts. Because we write our wonderful templates that we have, so they understand where balances may be coming from, if they do exist. And third of all, it allows them to fill that schedule. It allows them to pay attention to that money finder report, so they can get that crown in, and so they can get that production for the doctor. So then in turn, they do get an additional $40,000 like that one office did. I mean, everybody plays an important role in an office. And, I hate it when we have to struggle with front office people when they feel like eAssist is coming in to crouch them. And I'm like, I'm not coming in to crouch you. I need you. And I tell all of this to my front office staff of offices I worked with when I started. I'm like, I can't do this without you. I still need you. I'm not there. I don't know what's going on with the patients. I don't know if maybe something was a little bit different or a little bit off. So I need you to be able to talk to me about it. Because if we can't have a good relationship together, then this isn't going to work out, you know. But most of the time when they realize that I'm not trying to steal something from them, they take it and they run with it. And they all love us, and especially my offices, so.
eAssist Nation, you're getting the best. You're getting the best. You are lucky tonight because, look, I talk to doctors about this all the time. They ask me for an opinion, like, what is the biggest benefit that I am going to have? And I said, Doc, you're giving your front desk staff, you're giving your whole team a gift, okay? And it's very important that when we finish this call, you talk to your team, you talk to your staff and say, hey, eAssist is coming here and they're going to make your life better. They're going to make you better. And the other thing, too, is in order to have a satisfied patient, which is your best marketing tool, it's your best referral, you have to enable your team to create that patient, to create that patient environment. And so your team will be more equipped with, leadership, they're going to be, given a lot of time back to make these things happen. Would you agree with that, Charity?
Yeah, a patient environment, patient relationship. Everything is built on relationships in our lives, and it's one thing we can't get away from. As much as we want to automate everything, that relationship is the most important thing.
It is the most important thing. And, having patients look at the relationship between the doctors and the teams as well. When doctors are stressed because the money is not being collected properly, that kind of reflects on the team. And if the team is stressed about that as well, the patient environment can see that. So this is a perfect time to kind of take a break for a brief announcement out of eAssist, and then we will be an announcement from eAssist. We do it on every show right around the halfway point, so we'll be right back.
You know your practice is losing money. You just don't know why. Office managers are often overwhelmed with juggling insurances, patients, scheduling, and staff. eAssist Dental Solutions has the answer. By outsourcing your dental billing efforts with eAssist, your patients become your sole focus. With eAssist on your side, you will feel the burden of insurance collections lifted off your shoulders. Visit us at www.dentalbilling.com today to find out more information.
So, we are back again with Charity Tobon, and she is a Kaizen Coach, dental hygienist, and she was kind enough to be with eAssist tonight after working on some of her offices. Charity, this is the right around the time where we take another, we say another hello to eAssist Nation. So let's give them a stronger one. How about putting some real energy and force into that? All right, 1, 2, 3. Are you ready?
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Hello, eAssist Nation.
eAssist Nation.
You are so great. Thank you so much. When an office manager takes time off, and the collections process is sort of interrupted, shut down, whatever you might call it, the flow is just not good. How do you play a role to make sure that this is not happening?
Well, I don't know what to tell everybody, but yeah, when it comes to examples with my offices, a couple of my offices have several upfront people, not just one. They have a lot of them. And so they actually can rotate. So when someone takes time off, it's not the end of the world. Everyone kind of knows what everyone's doing in the front. And then one of my other offices that's much smaller, they've actually trained one of the hygienists how to do all of the scanning and things along those lines. She doesn't do as much work as the other front person, but she does get the scanning and things like that done. But then, I've had more of my offices go on vacation, and I'll just find the information for them. Other than doing the scanning, I'll be like, I'll get the EFTs, no problem. I'll get them sent. And then on top of it, too, when they don't have claims being sent out by office managers, when they're getting sent out by eAssist, we're there pretty much every day. I mean, we have things that change in our lives as well, but for the most part, I'm there. I'll send the claims, not a problem, and so they're continually getting those payments in on a regular basis because the claims are getting sent out on a daily basis. So it kind of helps with the flow along those lines.
Speaking of flow, I've never asked this question before, but how does the relationship, you talked about earlier that you need the staff. They need you, you need them. But as time goes on, you guys develop a stronger relationship with the office because you get to know each other by name, and, they know how you work. There's a sense of trust. How does that relationship getting better and better month after month after month, and then years down the line, how does that make the eAssist team, your teams, so great with the office together? Tell me a little bit about that.
We're not their eAssist team. We're part of the office.
Right. Yes.
We've created that relationship with the front desk. They ask us questions. We ask them questions. We get things done on a regular basis, things they don't have to worry about, that they can just focus on the patient side of things. I mean, even when there's additional services, which just even relaxes a lot of the front staff even more. that they really don't have to worry about anything. But then again, I utilize them for questions when I'm not there. Being someone that's been in an office, I understand some of the questions that I ask, like, hey, I read your note, it says this tooth, but I see the claim says this tooth, is this correct? Things along those lines, and then they relay a lot of things to us with their patients that allows them to focus on their patient care. And then it takes the stress off the front staff in the sense of, let's just say a patient calls that doesn't understand their bill, they're not sure about the insurance. Well, the front team can sit there and tell the patient, you know what? We have a great billing service that we use, and let me double check with them to make sure things are right. And then I'll go ahead and I'll take the time and I'll call the insurance and I'll verify that everything was done and correct, and that the amount that they paid was correct, and what a patient owes is also correct. So then that way, when they call back to that patient, they can confidently tell them why. And then, as always, I tell them, well, if the patient still has issues with it, feel free to give them my number and I'll chat with them. I don't mind doing that. I'm part of the office. If you ask any of my offices, the eAssist team is just part of the team. We're not a separate entity.
Absolutely. And, I saw this really in action when I was at Summit in Salt Lake last year. There were stories about my office, this, and my office, that. I just love the way you guys kind of, talk about your doctors and your offices, and it's just really refreshing. We're dealing with.
What do you mean? That my offices, like, they wanted to not be in the office, and so they aren't in the office anymore? That was the goal.
Yeah.
But the thing is, we all take a little bit of ownership in the offices. I take a little bit of ownership. Mm-hmm. I know I don't own any part of this office. I understand that. But I take so much pride in my work that I do, in my own mind, take a little bit of ownership of that office. And I want to make my office proud.
Yeah. Well, I see it. I see it. I hear it. I live it because, my wife's dental practice uses eAssist, that we started off, she started off as a client of eAssist. And I just see the work. I see the relationship. It's just a beautiful thing to see. What can you tell a doctor, an office manager listening today that is thinking about joining eAssist? What would you tell them about what they are going to kind of enjoy most about eAssist?
Will be the confidence that they can have that they are getting what they deserve from insurance companies. And then in turn on it, getting an additional set of team members that can take the load off of their front team as is, or even that one person that's there, and allow them to spend more time on that patient relationship, which ultimately we know most dentists and their teams want to do.
That's truly amazing. I mean, that's the truth. eAssist, we pride ourselves on being there for doctors, getting them to be successful, from whether you're an established office or an office starting up, for the first time, without any aging report. You can benefit right away from the efficiencies that eAssist can create. We haven't shared the information.
Well, then that means you will not have an over 90. That would be awesome. What? No over 90 ever because you started your practice? That's unbelievable. Why would we not want that?
Isn't that okay? Oh, you said it better. We need to have you on the show at least once a week. This has just been an amazing amount of information that you have provided us. We want to share the phone number, and you may be talking to Lindsay and Natalie and Monique or myself. So it's 844-327-7478, or you can simply visit dentalbilling.com, or of course, eAssist.com. So we are almost at the end of our program here. We've chatted it. We've talked about office teams. We've talked about the workflow. You guys are so important for eAssist, eAssist Nation, Kaizen Coaches as a team. You guys are relied upon, a lot.
Oh, golly, I love my teams. They make me look good.
Yes. Yeah. And you really...
Shout out Charity Regions. Woo!
Yeah. That is so great. And for eAssist Nation to hear how much energy you have, how much focus, how much fun you're having with this is truly, truly great. All right, this is personal now. how you feel.
All right. I realized this was a therapy session.
How do you feel at the end of the day when you have helped a dental office be successful?
Well, I feel successful myself. I feel pride. I feel joy. I feel ecstatic to my offices that are doing what they always wanted to do and why they hired on to eAssist, whether that be I want to go surfing more or I just don't want to be in the office. It's the little things that people put a lot of emphasis on that they're actually allowable to do, which makes my job that incredibly satisfying. Taking that little bit of ownership and that little bit of pride and helping offices collect what's deserved to them on many different levels, and helping them not only collect what they deserve, but understand more of this complicated world of insurance. Because even I still don't understand it to this day on several things, and I pick lots of people's different brains, but I have that pool of people to pick their brains from, and then I can relay that information to the office. And so the more knowledge that I can bestow upon an office, the better too. Because the more understanding we are of everything, then the smarter dentistry that we can, create for patients.
Yeah. And that's beautiful. Yeah. I bet your office is proud to have you. I'm going to share, and offer something myself. How do I feel at the end of the day? Well, I just got a message from Dr. Smith up in upstate New York. And, I'm on the new clients information team. Basically I'm on the sales team, right? And to have a doctor send a message to me and say, basically what I did is I handed the doctor off to the next team that, does the onboarding. But somehow I made an impression.
The amazing connection coaching. Yeah.
That's right. Right. And, but I left an impression and, she sent me a really nice message. And that to me, just like you said, I feel joy. I feel great. I feel like, hey, this made somebody's life. This created a change in somebody's life. And you
allowed them to breathe.
I did.
You allowed them to breathe.
And the funny thing is I'm just part of the process of eAssist. And then they get to you. And hopefully, that doctor is happy, just like they always are with your teams, and that we repeat that process over and over again. So on that note, I think we have really talked a lot about what we feel as eAssisters, what our teams do as eAssisters, and how we feel about overall being part of the eAssist family and eAssist nation. So Charity, on that note, I am going to give you a chance to say goodbye to eAssist Nation. And then we hope that we can get you back on the show and do part 2 someday. So why don't you tell...
part 2?
There is a part 2.
I don't think I have enough knowledge.
Oh, yes, you do. But let's go ahead and say goodbye to eAssist Nation. And go ahead, take it away.
All right, bye, eAssist Nation. Loves and kisses to you all.
Well, on that note, I'm going to say goodbye to all the doctors that I have served, all the eAssisters that I interact with day in and day out. You guys are great. Thanks, Charity, for being here.
Thank you, Andre.
Thank you once again to eAssist Nation and our amazing doctors. We want to remind you to give us a rating and a review. And thank you for letting eAssist be a part of your journey. Have a great week, everybody.
We hope that you have enjoyed this episode of the eAssist Dental Solutions podcast. We love to put the spotlight on the individuals for their outstanding work for our clients.